Older people are, well, anybody who is older than the person who is speaking, it's difficult to see them as just one group. Kofi Annan made a lovely speech where he was saying we will all grow old one day if we have that privilege, and we shouldn't see older people as a group apart to be treated differently. They're all individuals, they are our future selves. Normal aging includes, well, our skin gets a little bit wrinkly and dried out. We might be a little bit slower in some of the things that we do. Our eyesight will change, our hearing will change. Some people will develop arthritis, which is a bit of pain if you're moving in certain ways. And other people develop conditions which are usually associated with older people. I'm trying to achieve the right conditions for people to express themselves in whatever way they want to do, and respect their right to not move if they don't want to move. If people have dementia, they might find it a little bit confusing if somebody gives them some instructions or seems to be expecting things to be done in a certain way. So I would like things to be done in an open-ended way and to give people a chance to move in whatever way they would like to do. It's not just people with dementia, I have to say. Saying your name and making a move, or whether it's a little dance together, or whether it's rolling a ball to each other, something which actually relaxes people, maybe something which makes them laugh, is more likely to result in people being open to what comes next, more likely to be natural and to move in a natural way and not be self-conscious. Well, there's one thing I use, which is it's buttons attached to elastic, and you put it on over your shoes or your feet, and you tap your feet with it, and it really is quite useful to get your legs exercised. You can't actually make a noise if you're not moving your legs, so that's one functional outcome of props. Or I might give people a little LED light that they move around, and it's an opportunity to express themselves. It's a movement they probably wouldn't do if they didn't have that little tea light in their hand. I use waving ribbon sticks as a warm-up activity and also as a getting to know you activity. We might all wave them at the same time, or I might call out colours. Blues, in which case all the blues go and wave their sticks at each other, but they're moving around and generally warming up, getting their cardiovascular system going. Right. Feathers started off as a warm-up activity to just encourage breathing, but it became very popular for an icebreaker and for people to just explore creative movement with feathers. So it can be a number of different things. We might just stroke each other's skin with the feathers. It can be a breathing activity or a creative one. Yes, again, scarves are useful as a diversion. People are actually focusing on the scarf rather than on their embarrassment about their own moves. It's lovely to do mirroring with scarves because they can actually easily see the scarf in somebody else's hand. The elastic activity joins everybody together. They're all holding on to a piece of elastic. It gives you a little bit of resistance when you're actually stretching. It's pushing against it. And you're also kicking your legs up. So it's a good warm-up activity. It's a good cardiovascular warm-up. I might do just jiving in pairs, where you have one piece of elastic between two people and they just jive with it. Or we have what we call an octoband, where 8 people are holding on to brightly coloured pieces of elastic and they're just pretending to jive with the person across the circle. Yes, the opening and closing dance was made up to straddle free move with something set, because sometimes people feel quite uncomfortable with something where I say, right, make your own move up. That can be too frightening for people. So it's a simple, accessible dance done to a very clear piece of music which goes A, B, A, B. They can hear the cues in the music. The pass the move activity I usually do at the beginning. It's part of the warm-up really, or it's as the warm-up goes into something creative. And my aim with that is to change the leadership. I might say, they might have a paper plate in their hand and I might say, right, Jenny, it's your turn to lead. It may be that Jenny doesn't want to, so she will just shake her head. Or she may suggest somebody else. Unison move is something which is really helpful in creating a piece of choreography. It's a way of creating dance which looks really interesting, but doesn't mean people have to remember it. They don't have to do the same thing every time. They just have to follow the person in front. If the person in front slowly moves round, then the next person is the leader. Anybody who can't see anybody in front of them is the leader, if they want to be. So it's a really useful ingredient for new choreography. And even if somebody is in bed, it's a delightful alternative to a day which has got a lot of medical interventions, if we can introduce an opportunity for a little bit of dance. And one thing that goes down really well is to take a UV lamp and some white gloves, turn the lighting down, and to just have a little quiet dance with the patient in the bed and the dance artist, just having a little conversation with their hands with these gloves on. The UV light picks it up and it makes it look rather magical. And sometimes people get a real sense of well-being and happiness, which lasts a lot longer than the dance session. It has a particular sensitive appeal. It's a lovely way of finishing a session off. It's just another focus, and it's a way of having a conversation with somebody else when you're waving your tea light at them. In terms of safety, we have a duty of care to everybody who takes part in the session, and also to ourselves and anybody else who's going to be there. And that duty of care involves doing the risk assessment of the actual venue to check that the floor is suitable, that there are no hazards. If it's got a very low ceiling, then I won't do anything which might bang into the ceiling. So as well as risk assessing the venue, I find out as much as I can about the participants that will be taking part, if anybody has any condition which I might need to be aware of. And I also risk assess the activities. What could go wrong if people are blowing a feather, for example? Somebody might inhale it. What could go wrong if they're moving ribbons around on a stick? It might poke somebody in the eye. So I think about the measures I have to take to keep people safe in every different situation.